This is an example of a non-narrative summarizing lesson using a biology book, chapter 3.1, What is Ecology? It comes out of this book with the parrot on the front. So here is our non-narrative organizer. When students read these biology books, they have a hard time picking out what is important and what's not important. And oftentimes they end up writing way too much for the key information or way too little. This is a good way for them to determine what to write and what not to write in their key points. So first off, we've got each paragraph is divided here. All right? This page consists of 4 paragraphs. Then in the middle here, we've got the process to find the main idea of a paragraph. Now in the middle, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But there's 4 different types of paragraphs. There's an information, there's an introductory paragraph, a transition paragraph, an interesting paragraph, and an informational paragraph. An introductory paragraph obviously just introduces. A transition paragraph transitions from one topic to the next. Interesting paragraphs give good information, but not necessarily related to the key points. And then informational paragraphs are the really quality paragraphs that we want to focus on. Those are the paragraphs that have all the key information. What the students need to do is they need to read each paragraph and determine which type it is. Now, if it's an interesting paragraph, a transition paragraph, or an introductory paragraph, all they're going to do is check whichever box it is and then write the topic on the line. For example, in this first paragraph, it's an introductory paragraph. I just wrote, Earth is alive. All right, I just want to keep it real simple, real short, couple of words, and then move on to the next paragraph. So you see this next paragraph is an informational paragraph. That means it's got information related to the key point. Now, you might be asking, well, how do our students determine whether it's an informational paragraph or not? Well, they need to look at the title of the section, and they need to ask themselves, does this paragraph contain information directly related to the title of that section? And if it does, then you have an informational paragraph. If it doesn't, it's probably one of the other 3. When you have an informational paragraph, you need to write the main idea on the line. Now, main idea is often a full sentence. All right? We want to just keep it one sentence. We don't want to write any more than that because we don't want to end up having too much information. Now, some students are confused. They might say, well, this looks like an introductory paragraph, but it also looks like a transition paragraph. I can't tell. In that particular case, it's okay, because an introductory paragraph, a transition paragraph, and an interesting paragraph, they're going to do the same thing anyways, and that's write the topic. The main ones, the key ones that we want to focus in on are the informational paragraphs. And they'll be able to tell, for the most part, which ones are informational. You can kind of tell. They're usually the longer ones, and most paragraphs are informational paragraphs. So as you can see here, I've got 4 paragraphs. This one is introductory, this one is informational, so I wrote the main idea. This one is informational, so again I have the main idea. And this one is interesting, so I just have the topic. Now if you're having a hard time seeing this, this document will be posted so you can take a closer look at it. Alright, again, I've got the next 4 paragraphs on this page. Again, interesting, so I wrote the topic, interesting topic again, introductory topic, and informational. I wrote that main idea in there. Alright, this is the last one here. So what you do when you're finished is you take all of the informational paragraphs and all the main ideas and you put them in a summary statement right here. You want to try to keep the summary statement short. You don't want it too long, right? Again, because the summary consists of only the important information. So what I have here is the biosphere consists of all life on Earth. Ecology is the study of this life, including biotic and abiotic factors, through observation, experimentation, and modeling. Again, I have one sentence here. If you have to make it 2 or 3, that's fine, but again, we don't want to keep going on and on and on, because that's one of the problems students have, is they don't know what's important, so they just write everything. Now, this is a blown up version of the middle part of the page. This is when a student comes across an informational paragraph and they don't know the main idea. They look at that paragraph and they say, man, there's so much stuff in this paragraph, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to pick out for the key information. Well, there's a process that we follow, and everything is color coordinated. So first step is check the first and last sentence. All these are highlighted in yellow. Obviously, I've got the first and last sentence in my example paragraph 8 down here. Sometimes, probably about 10-15% of the time, the main idea is listed in that first or last sentence. So that's all you'll have to do. You won't have to go beyond that. It's that simple. But a lot of times, good information is listed in those first two, or in that first sentence or the last sentence. The next step, if you still don't know the main idea, is to notice repeated words and synonyms. Any word that's repeated more than once is obviously key to that paragraph. So here I've got several repeated words such as biotic factors, bullfrog, eat, and that looks like it. All right, so in my summary of this paragraph, I would want to include all those words. Now, if you still, after going through those two steps, you still don't know the main idea, you can go to this next step, which is to categorize details. All right, so in other words, can I put the information, can I divide this information into different categories? That makes the information much more manageable. Right? If you chunk things, you can deal with it in smaller pieces. It's much easier. So for this paragraph, I've got the categories definition and examples. And then finally, you want to investigate transitions. You look for transition words such as for example or another, because after those transition words, a lot of times is a key point. Because the paragraph will start off talking about one thing, have a transition word, and then the next key point will come right up. So if we check the first and last sentence, look at the repeated words, categorize the information into categories, and then look at the information directly after transitions, you should be able to write your main idea. Now, this takes a while. This takes a long time. And that's probably one of the biggest complaints students have. But as good readers, we do this automatically. Like an adult reading this won't have to go through this process because they'll do it unconsciously in their brain. Students who are struggling readers, if a freshman was reading this, he might have a hard time trying to decipher the main idea. But if they do this enough times, they'll become proficient at it. Right? If a student is able to do this 40, 50 times this school year, then next school year he won't need to rely on this process because it will be automatic. Now, as I stated before, this will be posted, so if you have any questions, you can either contact me or any literacy coaches, or you could check out this, which has a lot of good information in it. Thanks.